to Qattawi for What's Up Inland Empire. Normally this show is about local news, local events, but today we are going nationwide. And right now we are in Los Angeles at the Free and Equal Alternative Candidate Debate. And I'm sitting with Dr. Jill Stein, the Green Party candidate. I'm so excited to have her here. Hi, Dr. Stein. How are you doing and how are you feeling after the debate?
Well, Jessica, great to be with you. The debate was wonderful. I mean, it was especially wonderful to hear this incredible music throughout the debate. I think that has to be actually, required for all future debates. It just completely transforms the debate. But it was great. It's great to speak out, and it's great to be in a, in a setting where we can express opinions that are, that question the really horrible things that are being perpetrated by both political parties right now.
Right, and isn't it over 60% of Americans are looking for an alternative candidate? And here you are, and I mean, you are strong, you are intelligent, you are actually a doctor. I want to say you are the most qualified on the ballot to be our president. And it's just, but they block you. I see that. They try to hide you because they don't want the voters to know that you are here.
Exactly. I mean, I take it as a great compliment that they are working so hard to try to, bury our campaign, to cancel it, to take it off record. I just did an interview today with Tavis Smiley, and he told us on air that the DNC, the Democratic National Committee, sent him questions. They are following where I'm being interviewed, and they are sending. I presume that they're doing this all over now because the same questions are being asked all over, but they're all smear questions. And he actually had the integrity to stand up and blow the whistle on them and to expose what they're doing. So, to me, this is just so exciting because they just keep shooting themselves in the foot. People are really horrified at what the political elites are doing to our lives, our housing, our healthcare, our education, our environment. People aren't happy, to start with. And then to have the so-called Democratic Party doing all these anti-democratic things to deny people knowledge of candidates who actually support what it is that people are desperate for. So they are really shooting themselves in the foot. They're producing a huge pushback, and it's really exciting to see, and who knows where it will go. So, I encourage people to stand up, stand proud, stand tall. Do not let the Democrats or the Republicans tell you who you have to vote for or tell you that they own your vote. Right. They have this idea that they own your vote, and if you vote for on behalf of your own interests, that's a stolen vote. No, they never owned your vote to start with. They have to earn your vote, and they haven't earned it.
Right, they're trying to manipulate the masses, right? That's what they're always trying to do. Now, could you explain to our viewers, what does the Green Party stand for? Because I want to give you the opportunity to share this with the Inland Empire audience. What is the Green Party, and what does it stand for?
So the Green Party is a people-powered party. Unlike Democrats and Republicans, we don't take the money from the economic elites, from corporations, from super PACs. We are people-powered, of, by, and for the people. You can't sit down and write $1 million check to the Green Party. We don't do that. We play by the usual rules for so-called small donor campaign. And so we have the privilege, because who funds you runs you. So since we're funded by just everyday people, we promote the policies that everyday people are demanding. So we support healthcare as a human right for everyone under a Medicare for All system. Covers everybody, covers you comprehensively, your dental care, your mental health care, your eyeglasses, your hearing aid, your reproductive care, everything, your chronic care and your home care. And at the same time, it saves us $1 out of every $3 in healthcare is spent right now on waste and paper pushing. This is a much more efficient system. So it saves us $500 billion a year. So that's one thing. You get healthcare for everyone. under our administration. Another thing is we stopped the war in Gaza, the war on Gaza, the massacre in Gaza, the genocide. We stopped that. Actually, even before entering office, I would make that phone call. This is all it takes, is a phone call to Bibi Netanyahu to tell him that the war is over, because the U.S. is paying for the weapons. We are paying the economic support for the military. We are providing the diplomatic cover and the intelligence. So we control this. Ronald Reagan reigned in Israel back in 1982 when Israel was following the PLO, which was the Hamas of its day, following PLO into Lebanon and massacring thousands of innocent civilians in the process. And Reagan said, he was horrified, as any normal human being would be. So he basically called up Bibi Netanyahu and told him it was over. Within 24 hours, Israel brought back their troops. They stopped the missile strikes. So this is easy. This is not rocket science. And when Joe Biden and Kamala Harris tell you they're doing all that they can do, that's total BS. They can just shut it down in a minute. So that's another thing that the Green Party believes. We support Palestinian human rights. We do not support the apartheid state of Israel and the occupation and so on. We believe that all the players have to be brought into compliance with international law here. We believe in cutting the military budget, because what's happening in Gaza right now is kind of, it's a microcosm of what's wrong with the system of empire, which has been basically causing millions of deaths in the Middle East for the last, 20 plus years, right. And in other countries before then as well. We have a foreign policy based on military and economic domination. It's not working out so well for us folks. Not only are we losing war after war, but it is robbing us blind. We're spending half of our congressional budget on the endless war machine. So that's another thing that Greens believe. In fact, the motto for us is people, planet, and peace over profit. So we talked about the peace part. The planet part, we need to take care of the planet, because we are the planet. The planet takes care of us. So we've got a climate crisis right now, which is part of the general, crisis of our water and our air and our oceans and everything. So we have a kind of combined solution called the Green New Deal. You may have heard about it. Mm-hmm. By declaring a climate emergency, we actually unleash $500 billion right on day one. Every year, we have over $500 billion to create the jobs that transition us into the green economy on energy, transportation, housing, and agriculture. So that's kind of an overview on that piece. We believe in taking care of the housing crisis. This is one of the biggest problems for the American people right now. Mm-hmm. We cannot afford the housing. Half of all Americans are really severely financially stressed, yes, trying to meet the cost of housing. So we're calling for, number one, for rent control across the country, so we can just stabilize the costs right now. And then, we need to stop the buyout of our housing stock by private equity, by these big corporations that are buying the housing, hoarding it, keeping it off the market in order to drive the price up. So we're going to drive that housing back onto the market by creating a vacancy tax, so you can't just sit on housing and hoard it. And we're going to build housing, so-called social housing, also called public housing, high quality, mixed income, but with a very large affordability component, so that we're going to put 15 million new units of housing that's environmentally sound, that's built along public transportation routes, so we're not creating more traffic and gridlock, and we preserve open space, because green space is a very important part of creating, healthy and enduring communities. So, I should mention education. I should say a word there, because there's so many people locked into student debt. So we would abolish student debt, we would just forgive it, and we would create free public higher education. You should not have to go into lifelong debt simply in order to acquire the skills that you need in order to survive in today's economy.
Yeah, and in Israel, don't they get free education on our dime?
On our dime, yeah.
Wonderful.
What's wrong with this picture?
I know, it's very wrong. Now, I did see some social media accounts saying that you do not have a chance to win, but Can you actually go into detail and explain what the goal and objective is right now with your campaign and the election?
So let me say, if word got out about our campaign, we could win. In fact, in 2020, the last presidential race, 1 out of every 3 eligible voters decided not to vote. They decided not to vote because the candidates aren't working for us. So a lot of people in their right minds are not voting for these zombies being rammed down our throats. 1 out of every 3 voters. And who is that demographic? They are young, lower income, and of color. Exactly the people who benefit from our agenda. So what if the word got out to them? Well, they could turn out and vote, and we could just come out of left field here, completely unexpected, and we could win this election with those votes alone. So I wouldn't accept as a given here that we can't win the election. Now, is it likely? No, it's not likely. A few things would have to happen, but what if we were in World War III between now and then? That could happen, because Israel is going to attack Iran, and we may be in World War III 2 weeks from now. The draft is back. This is highly motivating to a lot of people. They do not want to be sent to defend Israel's right to commit genocide in Gaza. So we could not only be paying for this in money, we could be paying for this in blood. If that was happening, I think there would be a lot of people going to the polls to throw the warmongers, the war criminals out of office. In my view, that should happen, and I hope it happens, and I wouldn't rule it out by any means.
Okay.
So, in fact, it could be won. But say short of winning, if we simply get to 5% of the vote, it transforms the future of our elections. Because if you get to 5%, that means that we're actually on the ballot automatically in many states. Right now, to be on the ballot automatically, you have to be a Democrat or a Republican. They have a very tilted playing field to try to suppress political competition. Very convenient,
Right.
So we could be on the ballot, and then also you get a chunk of change, about $12 million, which isn't much.
$12 million?
Yeah.
But that will help your campaign and get the word out.
And because we are a people-powered campaign, $12 million goes a long way with us. We're volunteer-driven. And by the way, if you like what you hear, go to jillstein2024.com, and you can sign up to volunteer, because it's not just your vote, but your vote could be multiplied by 100 by your helping with phone banking, by flyering, by tabling. We got 2 weeks, and we could transform this election in the course of that 2 weeks. So, that's some of what could happen right now in the coming election if we decide that it really matters to us. And I gotta say, genocide really matters to a lot of people. Anyone who's not brain dead or heart dead will not stand by and allow genocide to happen.
No, it needs to end. It definitely needs to end. Now, last question. So this is your 3rd time running for president. Now, what motivates you to keep running and to keep going? Because I know this is not easy. What motivates you? What's keeping you going?
Oh, well. See, you wouldn't believe the progress between 2012 and now. So, like, a lot of people feel like we're dead in the water. No, we're not dead in the water. We are basically.
So wait, you said 2012. So is
this
your
my
4th?
This is my 3rd. I didn't run in the last one.
The 2020.
Yeah,
I didn't think so. I did vote for you in 2016.
Oh, thank you.
Yes.
Thank you. Yeah, so we actually started in 2012 before you even heard of us. So we've been building, but I have to say, I thought that the propaganda, I believe the propaganda that we're powerless. That's propaganda. We're actually not powerless. We are powerful. We represent what the American people really want. We represent the values of the American people, and the numbers are on our side. 68% want to end the genocide and have a diplomatic solution. 61% want a weapons embargo right now against Israel. We got the numbers. They just talk us into powerlessness. The question is, can we get the word out that we're here? So they smear campaign us a lot, and they fear campaign. But people don't really trust them anyhow. They smell like a rat, and they act like a rat, and what they say is BS. So, when a lot of people don't believe that BS, especially the 1 out of every 3 voters who aren't voting. they're not taking the word of the economic elites and the political elites. They reject that. They just don't know that there's an alternative,
Right.
which is why the political elites silence us and try to keep us out of coverage.
Right.
Because they're
trying to
terrified.
hide you. They are terrified.
Terrified.
They're threatened.
They are
That
very
when you
threatened.
see a smear campaign, you know that somebody's feeling threatened,
Yeah.
and they're trying to just hold you down, basically.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
So that's a sign of success.
Yes, it is.
So, I feel like we may be losing some battles, but we're winning the war.
Yes.
We're winning the war. And we should not be talked into hopelessness or despair or passivity. That's really what they're trying to do, is to talk us into lying down on the railroad tracks. So just by our continuing to fight, we're going to win this, and we'll win it much faster, the more determined we are and the more organized we are. So I encourage people, we are not outnumbered, we are out-organized, and we are out-funded.
Yes.
But we can out-organize over that.
Yes.
And if you can make a contribution, if you're in a position to do that, we need that too, because that helps us hire organizers and helps us produce more materials, flyers, and
Marketing
stuff like that. And also advertising.
Right,
Exactly.
advertising, yeah.
Advertising is huge.
It's
right
time
now.
for change.
Oh, it's totally.
Right?
People are so ready for it.
Yes.
Yes.
So all you got to do is vote for Jill Stein, Dr. Jill Stein. And I want to thank you so much for taking time to meet with me. And last, you want to tell everybody where they can follow you?
Yes.
Or
Yes,
Yeah,
absolutely.
yeah.
And it's been so great talking with you. Thank you for being here, Jessica. So go to jillstein2024.com and you can find out more. You can also sign up to volunteer so that you can get the word out. You can multiply your vote into 100 votes or more if you help with phone banking, or you can get flyers to distribute to your friends, or a table, or a door knock. You can do any of those things. If you feel passionately about this genocide, if you want to end this torture and murder of children on an industrial scale, if you want health care as a human right, if you want an affordable place to live, if you want to rescue the climate and the oceans and wildlife, who are falling like flies right now, if you want a world that your children can inhabit and that we can inhabit, own this campaign, because we have solutions that are absolutely achievable and feasible. So this is all about us standing up, not taking no for an answer, and demanding an America and a world that works for all of us. So if you go to our website, again, jillstein2024.com, sign up to volunteer. If you can make a contribution, do that, because every dollar goes a long, long way. We're a people-powered campaign. We have the power to transform history. I mean, history is transforming right before our very eyes right now. I think a lot of us are seeing that, and it is a wonder to behold. This genocide represents the darkest hour imaginable, but in these fires of just misery around the genocide, a whole new politics is being forged right now, which is absolutely unstoppable. And together we have the vision, the numbers, and the solutions to pull back from the brink and create a world that's going to work for all of us. So thank you all so very much. Join the revolution, and we'll be unstoppable together.
Yes, thank you. Thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you so much to Dr. Stein. You heard her. It is time that that the president is for the people,
Yes.
that the government is for the people. And it starts with you guys. So it's time to vote. If you're not a voter, get out there, vote, and vote Green Party. And thank you again. And if you guys have any questions, feel free to comment. We'll get on there and try to answer any of your questions. And I'm so excited. Thank you so much. And have a good evening, everybody.
Subscribe and follow us to stay connected with everything Inland Empire.